A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. As we see, Surah An-Nisa is now coming to an end, and we had read about the laws of inheritance. So the last ayat is also now going to talk about inheritance. Yastaftunaka, they ask you. What is this related to? Related to the legal decision about inheritance. Qul lillahu yuftikum fil kalala. This is in the case that they ask about a childless person. Say Allah gives you His decision about those who leave no descendants or ascendants as heirs. What is kalala? Who is a kalala? Kalala means a person who does not have a father, that means ascendants as per his parents, and secondly he does not have his children. Children meaning his own children and children as per his grandchildren. So kalala is a person who does not have a father and does not have children. In that case, people are asking what would be the law of inheritance for such a person. So in this, Allah says, if a man dies childless and leaves behind a sister, she shall inherit 1/2 of his property. If a woman dies, that means kalala can be a woman also. If she dies childless, her brother will inherit all her property. If the childless person leaves behind 2 sisters, they both shall inherit 2/3 of the property. But if he leaves more than 2 brothers and sisters, the share of each male shall be equal to 2 females. Thus Allah makes His commandments clear to you, lest you go astray. So this is something very clear. Yubayyinullahu lakum an tadillu wallahu bikulli shay'in alim. Allah has perfect knowledge of everything. So that means in the case of kalala, if there is only one sister, then she takes half. In the case when there is if a woman is kalala, then her brother is going to take the entire property. If there are 2 sisters, then they take 2/3. But if there are more than that, that means there are more brothers and sisters, then the part of the male is 2 to that of a woman. We start Surah Al-Ma'idah now, and Surah Al-Ma'idah is a Madani surah, and Surah Al-Ma'idah was one of the last surahs to be revealed before Prophet Muhammad ﷺ passed away. And so we will see that the commandments that are given in Surah Al-Ma'idah are the final commandments. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu awfu bil uqud. O believers, fulfill your contract obligations. Now, if this is being referred to the Ahle Iman, what is our covenant? Like previously we have been reading that there were covenants that were set with the Bani Israel, but they denied, they disobeyed the covenants, they broke the covenants. So what is the covenant with the Ahle Iman? The covenant is La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. And after having this covenant, Allah says you need to now fulfill it. Now when you need to fulfill it, that means that it has to be accepted, and then you have to bring it into your actions. Uhillat lakum bahimatul an'am. All grazing livestock are lawful to you. Now grazing livestock can be like, we have cows, camels, goat, sheep, bulls, and we have all the grazing animals. They are lawful for us, other than those which are hereby announced. So now we are going to see that some of the lawful animals, although they are lawful for us, they are halal, but under certain circumstances the same halal animal will not be allowed for us. That is just going to follow. However, do not violate the prohibition of hunting while you are in ihram. That means a person who is in the state of ihram cannot go and hunt. Indeed, Allah orders whatever He pleases. O believers, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu, do not violate the sanctity of the symbols of Allah, the sacred month, the animals brought for sacrifice, the garlands that mark such animals. Why? Because when people used to carry their animals during Hajj, then they used to put special signs on those animals that these are marked for Hajj. And those people visiting the sacred house, that is Kaaba, to seek the grace and good pleasure of their Rabb, when you put off your ihram, then you are allowed to hunt. Let not the hatred of some people, that is the pagans, who once hindered you from the sacred mosque, incite you to commit transgression. Meaning that despite the fact that others stopped you from coming towards the Kaaba, your actions should still be decent and proper. You cannot transgress. That means you are committing something even worse than what they had already committed. You still have to perform the right deeds. And then Allah says, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى. Cooperate with one another in righteousness and piety. Righteousness, that means encourage one another to do the right things. And then cooperate with one another as far as taqwa is concerned, that means stop one another from committing the evil, from committing the sins. And then we see wala ta'awanu alal ismi wal udwan. But Allah says, on the other hand, you are not going to cooperate with one another when it comes to sin and when it comes to transgression. Sometimes it is very easy to refuse your friends and outsiders, but it is very difficult to refuse your own family members and your own spouses and your own parents. Allah says, if you want to cooperate, then cooperate on the right. For example, if somebody is making a plan of deceiving somebody, or somebody is making a plan of going into a fraud with someone, so my duty is not to be a party to it. Somebody is trying to make a plot against to trap somebody, someone innocent, to put a blame on someone, whereas he did not commit anything wrong, and I am being dragged into it. So what should I do over here? Should I become a party? No, I don't have to become a party. Why? Because then let them bear their own burden. And in this case, we will see that a lot of times when we are unable to say no, we force ourselves into such fitnas, and later on we are the ones who are regretting that I wish I had not said it with her. I wish I had not done it. She told me to pick up the phone and say something like that. Why did I do it for her? And similarly, why did I listen to them that I went all the way to say what I should have never said it? So instead of regretting later on, Allah is saying that don't even cooperate on such things. Then one should hinder himself. Wattaqullah. The basis is that you have to fear Allah, because Allah is telling you not to do such a thing. So then I have to refrain myself from doing it. Inna Allaha shadidul iqab. Why? Because if Allah will come to take you on task, then Allah is very stern in His punishment. Hurrimat alaykumul maytatu. You are forbidden to eat the meat of any animal that dies by itself. That means a dead animal. Waddamu, and the blood. Walahmul khinziri, the flesh of swine, that is pork. Wama uhilla li ghayrillahi bihi, and that on which name has been taken which is other than Allah. Now, like previously it was just said in the last ayah that Allah Ta'ala said that we are going to pronounce some of them. Now, what are these states in which even a lawful animal is not allowed for us? Allah says also that which is strangled to death. Now, maybe this is a goat, but she was strangled to death. If that animal has been strangled to death, now the same lawful animal becomes unlawful. Secondly, killed by a violent blow. It could be by a weapon or any other such utensil, then again this is forbidden. Killed by a headlong fall. Or maybe from a, for example, some animal has fallen off the mountain or a hill, and of those beaten or goring of horns, and they have died in that says. Unless Allah says, and that which has been partly eaten by a wild animal, unless you are able to slaughter it before its death. Before it dies, if you catch it and you can slaughter it, then it's permissible. Also that which is sacrificed on altars or is divided by raffling of arrows. All these are sinful acts. Zalikum fisq. And what does this mean by the altars? Altars was when people used to go to these specific stones and then they would sacrifice the animals in their names. And then lastly Allah says the raffling of arrows, because there was this custom in the Arabs that they used to throw these arrows, and whichever angle, whichever side the arrow would take, they would decide their future according to it. Similarly, we see that today, for example, we have the soothsayers or the fortune tellers or people who take decisions by the stars, by the movement of the stars. All this is forbidden in Islam. And Nabi Sallallahu has clearly said that one who goes to a soothsayer to find such a decision that is about the future, then his prayers are not accepted for the next 40 days. So this is something totally against the teachings of Islam, that we go to anybody who can give us the future. No one knows the future, not even Nabi Sallallahu knew about the future except Allah. Otherwise, Nabi Sallallahu should have known when Qiyamah will come. When the necklace of Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha got lost on a trip, Nabi Sallallahu should have known about it. But since ghaib has been kept with Allah himself, no one knows. So if anybody is going to claim that he knows the future, he dares to claim that he knows the future, then in such a case Nabi Sallallahu clearly says that the prayers for the next 40 days of such a person who is going to believe in him also are not going to be accepted. Today the unbelievers have despaired in defeating your religion. Despaired in defeating your religion meaning because they know that your religion is right. It's another thing that they are not believing in it, but within their hearts of the heart they know that this is right. Have no fear of them. Wala takshawhum wakshawni. Fear me. Al yawma akmaltu lakum dinakum. Today I have perfected your religion for you. Wa atmamtu alaykum ni'mati. Completed my favor upon you. That is the favor of Islam. Wa raditu lakum al Islam adina. And approved al Islam as a deen. This is the way of life for you. And in this we see that this was the last ayat that was revealed, and no further injunctions came after this ayat. And Nabi Sallallahu, it is said that he lived for about 81 days after this ayat was revealed, and this was the 9th day of Zilhajj in 10th Hijri, and later then we see that Nabi Sallallahu passed away. And this is the ayat in which Allah Ta'ala has defined Islam. After this you cannot add anything to Islam. The definition of Islam has been completed. For what comes under the Islam as per our do's and don'ts, the legal matters of Sharia have been defined. So if anybody is now going to add anything other than this, then that is going to be an innovation in Islam. Yas'alunaka maza uhilla lakum. They ask you what food is lawful for them. Say, Qul uhilla lakum at-tayyibat. Say all good clean things are lawful for you, as well as what you have taught your hunting birds and bees. Birds can be like people use falcons, and bees can be like dogs to catch, trained by you like the knowledge given to you by Allah. Eat what they catch and hold for you. However, pronounce the name of Allah, that is, you say Bismillah over it. Have fear of Allah. Allah is swift in settling the accounts. Today all good clean things have been made lawful for you, and the food of the people of the book is also made lawful for you, provided their zabiha is in accordance to the methods of Islam, and your food is made lawful for them. Nabi Sallallahu was gifted a sheep, a leg of the sheep which was poisoned. This was given by the Jews, and Nabi Sallallahu accepted it, and then later he was informed that it was poisoned. So on the basis of that, that means we are allowed to take the food of the Ahle Kitab, but provided that they are on the same methods of Islamic slaughter. And your food is made lawful for them. Likewise, marriage with chaste, free, believing women, and also chaste women among the people who were given the book before you is made lawful for you, for as long as you provide that you give them their dowries, that is their mahar, and desire chastity, that you are going to provide a pious life and a respectful pure life, neither committing fornication nor taking them as secret lovers. Just because they are not Muslims, Sometimes people go abroad and they think that these are kafir girls and we can have a very good time with them. So that is not allowed in Islam. Allah clearly says that you can marry the women of the people of the book provided they are chaste. Those women are chaste themselves, and then you provide them a pious life also. And it's not just that you take them and you take them in your marriage and then you leave them after a time just in thinking that it's not a sin to do so just because they are not Muslims. No, Islam teaches us our manners here also, that we have to follow the rules. Anyone who commits kufr with iman, all his good deeds will be in vain. This is something so important, that when man commits kufr after Islam, then he is going to ruin his own deeds, and in the hereafter he will be one of the losers. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu iza kuntum ila salati faqsilu wujuhakum. Now Allah Ta'ala is going to give us the guidelines regarding the wuzu. O believers, when you rise up for salah, wash your faces and your hands as far as the elbows, wipe your heads with wet hands, and wash your feet to the ankles. Now these are the 4 things, that means, which are the faraiz of wuzu. And when we go and read the hadith, then we get to know the entire procedure of wuzu, and whoever wants to refer can refer the fiqh books on salah and wuzu. If you had an emission of semen, then take a full bath. Now this is one of the reasons where wuzu will not suffice, but one will have to go and take a bath, that is after the sexual relationship with the wife. However, if you are sick or on a journey, or you have used the toilet, or you had intercourse with your women, that is your wife, and you do not find any water, then resort to tayammum. We did tayammum in the last juz also, and I showed you the way of how to perform tayammum. And for that, find clean soil and rub your faces and hands with it. And why does Allah Ta'ala give us the option of tayammum? Allah says Allah does not wish to burden you. He only wishes to purify you and to perfect His favor upon you, so that you may be thankful. Remember Allah's favor to you and the covenant which He rectified, or He confirmed with you when you said, we hear and we obey. Is qultum sama'na wa ata'na wattaqullah. Have fear of Allah. Inna Allah alimun bizati sudur. Surely Allah knows the secrets of the heart. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu kunu qawwamina lillahi shuhada'a bil qist. O believers, be steadfast for the sake of Allah and bear true witness. Now you see, again the topic comes back that you have to bear true witness. And let not the enmity of a people incite you to do injustice. No matter somebody is being so mean and bad and evil to you, yet you cannot go into injustice. For as long as we remain on our rules, Allah is going to make things easy for us. And one must always remember that whenever one is humble for the sake of Allah, that Allah always elevates him in his ranks. I'dalu, do justice. That is nearer to piety. So that means I'dalu huwa aqrabu lit taqwa. So what are the signs of taqwa? That one is aware of Allah is when he does justice. Justice is such a broad term, you cannot limit it to in just terms of money. This goes on in the authority that we are given, that we have to prove justly, the amanat that we have been given, the decisions that we make, the choices that we make, we have to bear it on just. Similarly, when we are given a responsibility, whether it is our job, whether it is our any task that we have been given, justice will come when we are dealing with our own children in respect of boys and girls. Sometimes people favor the boys and they do injustices with their own daughters. Sometimes the eldest is given priority over the youngest. Sometimes the youngest is given a priority over the eldest. Similarly, injustices can come when people are sharing things. When it comes to relations, sometimes people are very honest with their own siblings and their own in-laws, but when it comes to their husband side or the spouse's side, then they bring in injustices. So justice is a very broad term, but of course this is the crux of Islam, because Allah Himself is just. So this is what He likes to see in His people, that people are dealing with one another justly. We will take a short break over here.